Good afternoon, and welcome to the final episode of CalTv for 2021. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jim Caselli. On today's show, Mickey Moody will take a look back at 2021 and tell us what's in store for Fiscal end users in 2022. We'll take a look at the flipped classroom, a new learning concept that Fiscal is piloting, and we'll ask you what you'd like to see on Fiscal TV in upcoming episodes. Let's get today started with a conversation I had recently with Mickey Moody, the Deputy Director of Fiscal's Business Operation and Solutions Division.
Mickey, welcome once again to Fiscal TV. It's always great to have you with us.
Good afternoon, Jim. I'm happy to be here. And I also want to thank everyone for being here to watch this episode.
Mickey, I know you're here to talk about what we have in store for 2022, but before we get to that, how about sharing a few accomplishments from 2021?
Absolutely, Jim. This is definitely not an all-inclusive list, but just some highlights as we're closing the 21 calendar year. One of our major accomplishments this last year was the deployment of the final functionality of the project, and that was a significant accomplishment. So not to compare, another accomplishment was the launch of the Fiscal Learning Center, which provided a one-stop shop for departments' training needs. We went through a monumental effort to review and update the learning materials in the FLC so that users would have the most current information when they open the system. We also improved the way departments can submit and track their tickets in ServiceNow. These improvements were directly from department feedback in our Imagine Fiscal sessions. We created new reports in Power BI, including the Agency Reconciliation Report. And we also created additional RPAs, or Robotic Process Automation, in coordination with the CIC RPA Working Group. And lastly, we launched work centers and many other enhancements to the system.
I know we've done quite a few segments on Fiscal TV with Ajita Nimkar, and they've all been really well received. Of course, talking there about the work centers. Okay, what do our users have to look forward to in 2022?
Looking back and seeing these accomplishments motivates us for this coming year. And there's a few things in particular that we look forward to releasing this year in training. One of those is the Fiscal Manual. The Fiscal Manual has been a request of departments for quite some time. I believe it actually came up in the original Imagine Fiscal session. This last Imagine Fiscal, we actually conducted a session dedicated to the manual. And as you can imagine, this is a really big effort. We started on the manual in this last year and are planning to release it in this coming year. So the manual is something to be on the lookout for. Another area in training that we are looking at improving is how we conduct training. And we are starting with something called the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a new learning concept that we're piloting with the labor distribution class starting in January. This is exciting as it's going to allow users to study the topic at their own pace. Users can also retake the material at any time, and the flipped classroom will actually be a set of curriculum including videos, assessments, and other materials. Once the curriculum is completed, the users will have the opportunity to register for a live question and answer session with Fiscal subject matter experts. This is a new concept that we're hoping will prove beneficial to users.
You know, that sounds pretty exciting, especially the part about allowing users to work at their own pace. I think they're going to really enjoy that. What about Power BI?
Yeah, so Power BI is the third area we're excited about. And we're looking to make expansions in the reports provided through Power BI. I hope that our users have had a chance to see the episode. I believe it was the last episode on Power BI. And there's a lot of great work that is done, and we're continuing our efforts in expanding reports available to users. So coming soon are reports for disaster cost recovery tracking, AR aging, PO encumbrance, income and expenses, and a purchasing data report. We're also exploring self-service analytics. And of course, these were all discussed in detail in the last Fiscal TV episode. So if you missed it, you can find the last episode in the FLC. This next year, we're looking forward to continuing to identify reports for Power BI with the CIC Power BI Working Group. And some reports next on the list are the Comprehensive Accrual Report. And then we're also looking at other reports that take longer to query from PeopleSoft. So those are areas I wanted to specifically discuss, but there are many other things we continue to work on.
Can you share with us what some of those are?
Sure, I can share a few of what we're working on. So one of the areas we're continuing to expand is the virtual instructor-led training. So we're looking to expand and create new topics for training. We're also looking at the year-end close process and improvements in BLL. And guardrails are another area that we continue to work on. So last year, we looked for opportunities to release guardrails into the system. These guardrails help to prevent keying errors that cause problems with transactions. And we're continuing to look for more opportunities for guardrails in this coming year. And of course, we continue to check in with our users and making sure we understand what our users' needs are. So I just want to thank everyone for making 2021 a great year. And I look forward to the improvements that we can make in 2022.
Well, Mickey, thanks so much for being with us and sharing that information. Sounds like 2022 will be a happy new year for all of our users. And once again, always great to see you. And thanks so much again for sharing all that information.
Thank you, Jim.
You heard Mickey mention the flipped classroom. We have some more information for you regarding that. Let's take a look at that now.
So hello, my name is Kimberly. As Mickey said, I am with the client training section. Myself and my colleague Wendy will be going over the flipped class concept that we've developed for specifically currently for the labor distribution module. This is kind of meant to enhance the VILT or virtual instructor-led trainings that we currently offer at this time. Just a quick overview of what we're going to be covering just really quickly. I'll be going over what is the flipped class concept for those of us that aren't familiar with that style of learning, as well as the format that we have in place for the material in the Fiscal Learning Center. And then we'll be jumping into our pilot environment to go over a live demo of the material that we've developed, as well as what we envision the Q&A sessions to go as. So what is the flipped class concept? It's basically a blended learning strategy. Students will be able to view pre-recorded learning content, complete interactive exercises prior to attending a live classroom environment with instructors or subject matter experts. So this style of learning was really based on the user feedback that we would get from our evaluations from the folks that would attend our virtual instructor-led training classes. One of the most common feedback that we got was the lack of availability for all users to attend these very popular VILT classes. Registration was kind of hard because we did have to cap off the classes. But with this flipped class style of learning, the material is going to be available to all users at any time. So there isn't going to be any kind of cap as to how many people can view the videos or how many people can sign up for the trainings. It's just whoever wants to take it can take it at any time. And as Mickey said, they can move through the material at their own pace. We still really wanted to make sure that we kept that interactive piece. So we are incorporating interactive exercises, as well as allowing students the option to attend these Q&A sessions with the instructors in case they wanted to ask more questions or just needed more clarification on some of the material that was covered in the curriculum. So that's just a quick overview of what the flipped class concept is. As far as the format, this is the way we envision it so far, and this is the way we've built it at this point. So we've created a specific curriculum in the Fiscal Learning Center that will house all of the lectures, demos, exercises, assessments, and everything. So users will take all of that content in that curriculum, and then they'll have to take and pass a post-assessment, like a test, and then complete the evaluation, just to kind of give us feedback on how they felt the curriculum was, any way that we can improve. And they'll also have the opportunity to submit questions at that point as well. And once they've completed the curriculum and done the assessment and the evaluation, they then have the option to attend a Q&A session with the subject matter expert or instructors. So that's the format that we have so far. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into our pilot environment to kind of show you how it actually looks in action. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my browser. All right. So just like before in the Fiscal Learning Center, anytime you want to search for any material, you can use your learner homepage and search for content there, or you can utilize the global search bar here up at the top. Type in what you're looking for. In this case, this is the flipped class in our pilot environment. So all you would have to do is type that in here, and then you'll open up that curriculum. So here is what it would look like once a user opens up the flipped class curriculum. As I mentioned, we will have the content within the curriculum itself. So this will house all of the lectures, all of the demo videos, and all of the exercises. We've broken them out into subsections. So it's separated by micro topics, and then within each of those micro topics are the specific lectures and such for those sections as well. This is a little bit different than the current curricula that we have available for users at this time. We are requiring users to take the content in the order that it is listed, because we have organized the content in a meaningful way to make sure that the users are taking the content in that order, to make sure that they're absorbing the material in the format that we envisioned for them. So they'll have to take all of the content within each section before they can move on to the next section. And with that, I'm actually going to hand it over to my colleague, Wendy, who will go into a little bit more detail about the training that we've developed for the flipped class.
Thank you, Kim. So at the start, there's test your knowledge on LD. So this will be the pre-assessment for users to take, basically to gauge where they're at with the specific module. So for this one, it's a one-time take only, and this portion, this pre-assessment, will not be graded. It is only to see where you'll be at the start. And then at the end, you'll have the actual assessments to see how you are doing now. So after you have taken the pre-assessment, then you'll be able to gain access to the next sections. So the first section will be the 5 W's of labor distribution, for example. And for each individual sections, there will be lecture recordings, demo videos, and or lecture recording, demo videos, exercises, and or job aid materials inside the particular sections, so that the students will gain whatever access to the information that they need if they want to delve into certain content. So for lecture recordings, it typically mimics the current BLT class PowerPoints. The only difference is that it's scripted, pre-recorded, and edited through Camtasia or on our side. As for the demo videos, as for the demo videos itself, it includes PowerPoints to help students to follow and what we're explaining, because it's quite a bit of information in the actual lecture recording. So these demos are to break it down, to dive deeper into specific topics so that the end users will know certain parts a little bit more. And then also for the exercises, we have 2 types of exercises created for these lectures. So we have the matching ones and the interactive ones. So we'll be showing you the matching one first. In terms of the matching ones, they're drag and drop exercises. So if you were to drag and drop into the individual ones, it should match directly if they are the correct answers. However, if they're not, it'll bounce back, and then until you complete all the exercises and submit it, then you'll have it check marked as complete for this one. As for the interactive one, we'll be showing you the personal activity sheet. So this is how to adjust the personal activity sheet. At the beginning, there's a show me how and the let me practice mode. The show me how portion is a walk in process where we guide you with, and you'll see certain bubbles that will tell you, okay, this is where you'll click, and then this is where you'll go in order to go to the next step of the process. The other part that we have is the let me practice mode. So with this mode, there's not much guidance. It's just to mimic production. However, once you're clicking towards the specific navigation, it'll tell you that the green box saying that you're near where you should be, or it'll have the red box, oh, this is not the right place, maybe go here. So this is what we have in terms of the interactive portion of the exercise and for the drag and drop matching exercises. So towards the end of the course, you have to complete the assessment. So this assessment can be taken as many times as needed. You have to score 70% or above higher in order to complete this course. And then afterwards, you'll be able to access the evaluations. And evaluations is important in order for you to gain that certificate at the end of the course. After completing the entire course at any given time, if you want to come back here to any specific content, you can to review anything or find the information that you need pertaining to the specific job egg, for example, or the specific portion like how to create an employee ID. After the evaluations, this is when you'll be able to enroll in these QA sessions that we'll be having. So you could go through it by clicking onto the event calendar and then finding the QA session. So for here, for example, December 8th is a QA session. And then once you're here, you'll be able to register for the class. So the key point for this one is you have to complete the evaluations, which signifies that completing the overall course content. And that way you'll be able to enroll in these QA sessions. So these QA sessions are only a few hours long, 3 hours long, and there'll be a SME there at the beginning of the QA session. Our current plan is to have it to be somewhat like a trivia style, somewhat like Jeopardy, where it separates into a few sections relating to the LD curriculum that the individual has taken. So all the topics are structured as a category, which will have a few questions. And these questions are to just gamify the process so that students can recall what was taught in class, because, you know, the QA sessions are given probably a month later. So as a refresher, this will also gauge students to ask more questions that they probably haven't thought of at the beginning of this class. Also with the QA sessions, we're planning to have students have students be able to send in questions ahead of time so that we could have some of these materials prepped for them. And that's basically what we have for this demo. Thank you.
I know everyone here at Fiscal is really excited about the flipped classroom. If you have any questions about the flipped classroom, please send them to Fiscal Learning Center at fiscal.ca.gov. Once again, the email address is fiscallearningcenter@fiscal.ca.gov. And you can always reach out to your relations coordinator if you need more info. Every month, Fiscal TV brings you, our Fiscal end users, information, demonstrations, interviews, Q&A sessions with SMEs, and more. And it's all designed to help you successfully interact in the Fiscal system. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you would like to see on Fiscal TV. Please let us know. And it's very easy. Just send us an email, and you would send that to fiscal.cmo@fiscal.ca.gov with the subject line Fiscal TV. Tell us about your ideas, and we really do look forward to hearing from you. Once again, that email address is fiscal.cmo@fiscal.ca.gov with the subject line Fiscal TV. Well, that's our show for today. If you would like to see this or any of our Fiscal TV shows, you can find them on our YouTube channel. And don't forget, please tell your colleagues about Fiscal TV as well. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on Fiscal TV in January.